Hello everyone, therein Kids here once again, and today I went through and manually determined the price of each card in Go format. And what I found was that there are currently, as of the day I'm making this video, only 133 cards out of the total 1,698 cards in Go format that cost $1 or more to purchase online. Now, while I am insane enough to spend multiple hours looking up each and every card price, I'm not insane enough to do it multiple times. So my method was simple. To determine the card price, I went off the market price listed for each card on TCG Player, and in some cases double checked over on Troll and Toad when the price was close to $1 to confirm its actual value. This does not mean that you can't find someone selling for less or more for any particular card, that a played or worse condition version won't be under $1, or that the prices won't change at all. However, this was the only sane way I could think of to quickly determine for the Go format community what cards are actually worth money or that can be picked up for cheap. I won't go over every single card out of the 133 in this video. Most of them are promos, tournament pack cards, or simply not played and haven't gotten reprints for that very reason. I'll mainly be discussing the most meta-relevant cards for this video. If you want to see the full list anyway, it's linked in the description, with all red cards being 99 cents or more, and all yellow cards being roughly 70 to 98 cents. Everything else should be well under $1. If you spot something that should be changed in the future, let me know, and I might be able to adjust the list. With all that out of the way, let's get to the nitty-gritty. First, the staples. There are cards that most people use in their decks in Go format, and they're played enough that you probably want to still buy them even if you are on a budget. These cards are Delinquent Duo, Graceful Charity, Pot of Greed, Heavy Storm, Ring of Destruction, Snatch Steal, and Tribe Infecting Virus. Thankfully, even if they are over $1, they aren't too much more than that, save for, of course, Delinquent Duo. Next, let's look into the deck most players are probably thinking about the price of, Chaos Turbo. Which cards are more than $1 in there? Well, not as much as you would think. However, the key ones would be Upstart Goblin, Jar of Greed, Raigeki Break, Thunder Dragon, Trap Dust Shoot, and Tsukuyomi. The deck still has some heavy hitters, with both BLS and Chaos Sorcerer surprisingly being under $1 each, along with GK Spy, Night Assailant, and Magician of Faith. Raigeki Break can also be substituted for the slightly less expensive Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. And what, I hear you ask, about Warriors? Well, to make it out a bit better in this case, their cards only $1 or more include Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer at exactly $1, Mystic Swordsman level 2, Trap Dust Shoot. Trap Dust Shoot is definitely the most expensive card of the lineup. However, you could potentially replace it, but its lack of presence would definitely be felt. Next up, we have to evaluate the OG Goat Control. This is going to encompass a few different variants, as Goat Control has a very wide net for card inclusions. Fusions will also be essential for pretty much any deck able to summon fusions, so listen closely. Here we go. Their $1 or more cards are Abyss Soldier, Fusilier Dragon, the Dual Mode Beast, Metamorphosis, Morphing Jar, Tsukuyomi. And the fusion cards: Dark Balter the Terrible, Darkblade the Dragon Knight, Dark Flare Knight, Darkfire Dragon, Dragoness the Wicked, Gatling Dragon, Reaper on the Nightmare, Ryu Senshi, and Thousand Eyes Restrict. A few of those fusions have very easy alternatives like Carbonala Warrior and Charubin the Fire Knight, and Reaper on the Nightmare won't be dropped as often, but all decks that can access the fusion deck in GOAT benefit from having as many fusions as possible, and you should include them if you can. You definitely can't play a GOAT control deck without Thousand Eyes Restrict either. The card that hurts the most on this list, however, is definitely Gatling Dragon. And it comes up fairly often in gameplay too, especially if you're playing a Stein-based deck. Alright, we got the fundamentals out of the way. Now let's talk about some degenerate decks. Burn, OTK, and Alt-Win to be specific. All such cards that you can currently find for $1 or more include Cyberstein, Dimension Fusion, Return from the Different Dimension, Gyakugire Panda, Last Turn, Last Will, Level Limit Area B, Morphing Jar, Secret Barrel, Serial Spell, and Reversal Quiz. As per usual, Burn is very few cards that actually cost a lot, but even with a recent reprint, we're still seeing Gyakugire Panda above $1. The real surprising inclusion here for me was Secret Barrel though.
Atrocious.
It's been printed so many times as a common card and yet it's still somehow more than $1? Burn players must be buying it up like crazy. On top of all that, one of the most popular side deck cards against Burn is over $1 as well. Mystic Walk.
Huh?
And that about covers it for meta-relevant cards. Once more, the full list of cards will be linked in the description. I probably won't be updating it anytime soon on my own, considering how long it took to do, but maybe once a year I'll revisit this idea and make a new video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.